the minutes, okay? So Anya, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start the live feed and our recording. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This meeting of Brooklyn Community Board 14 is called to order on Monday, January 10th, 2022 at 7:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Under the applicable statutes of New York State, the Charter of New York City, the board's bylaws, and Robert's Rules of Order. The board's policy is to encourage detailed public discussion of matters before the board at our committee meetings and at public hearings. Consequently, except by board members, there will be no public discussion at our regular monthly meetings of matters about which a public hearing or committee meeting was held. Specific service delivery requests or complaints should be brought to the attention of the district manager's staff in the board office during regular business hours or by visiting our website at any time. Other matters of civic interest may be brought before the board during our scheduled public comment period, which will begin tonight after all of the business on the board's monthly meeting agenda has been concluded. No partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises will be heard. Persons wishing to speak during the public comment period were asked to pre-register. So with regards to attendance, a roll call will be taken from the participants list at this time. I just want to remind all board members on this call that you are expected to stay on throughout the entire meeting. We are seeing some drop off by the time we get to our public speaking, a public portion of the meeting. I noticed that Councilmember Farah Lewis is on the call. Councilmember Lewis, would you like to address this group here tonight?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I would. Do you want me to do that after attendance?
We're going to take attendance participants list, so the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair Brown, District Manager Campbell, and to the entire CB14 membership. Thank you all for being on. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope your New Year is starting off well and that everyone is safe. I think my new Chief of Staff is on. His name is Anthony Drummond. I wanted to quickly introduce him and Sabrina Dycd from my office that most of you already know. But I wanted to share with you all that my office will be partnering with Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson regarding the 19 individuals who lost their lives in the Bronx fire yesterday. Our community is going to be our office is going to be working with the community, particularly M&M Angels, a nonprofit organization ran by a 9-year-old girl in our community, Multicultural Bridge Project, and the Flatbush Jewish Fund to provide families that have been displaced due to the fire with essentials that are needed, being that they're displaced right now and waiting for permanent housing. Their congressperson is working on that proactively. Our office moved during the pandemic, I would say in early 2021. So we're located at 1434 Flatbush Avenue between Farragut and Glenwood. Our office is not closed, we're open. We've been taking cases virtually, and we also take cases by appointment. So you can feel free to reach out to the office if you have any issues going on or have any questions or concerns or would like to partner on an event. The budget season has started, so the FY23 City Council application is live. The deadline is February 22nd. I sent an email out today letting 501c3 nonprofit organizations know, please do not wait until the last minute to apply for funding. Do it in advance, and our office will be holding a series of workshops to help you navigate through the application process. Other than that, that's all I have for now. We'll also be launching participatory budgeting very soon, so that information will be posted on social media. Our office number is 718-629-2900, and you can also reach out to us via email at district45@council.nyc.gov. Anthony, I don't know if you have anything or if this is the time that this should happen, Chair Brown, but just wanted to thank you so much for your leadership and look forward to working with Community Board 17 this year.
Okay.
Yes, good evening, Community Board 14. As the member mentioned, Glad to be part of the board and attending the meetings. I think the member covered all the points. So just introducing myself and glad to be back in Brooklyn and particularly with CB4. I will say that I too, as a disclosure, am a resident of CB14. So happy to be working as well as living in the community board. So thank you very much.
Very much, Councilmember Lewis, for your comforting words regarding the fire in the Bronx, and welcome very much, Mr. Drummond, and resident of Community Board 14. We look forward to seeing you at our meetings. I recognize that Councilmember Colin Yeager is on the call. Councilmember Yeager, would you like to address this?
Thank you very much. Like Councilmember Lewis, I'll be very brief. Just want to wish everybody a belated Happy New Year for those who I haven't seen in the last couple of weeks. Our community has made us very proud in their outreach and their work to help our neighbors in the Bronx. The Borough Park and Flapper Shomrim, Maspia, dozens of community residents have spent yesterday and today going up to the Bronx with food, with donations, doing some of the things that Farrah was speaking about, to try to help out our neighbors and do what we can to try to ease some of the pain and some of the burdens. So I'm very proud of our community residents who didn't think twice before they got themselves up in the cold and went up to the Bronx to do what they can to lend a hand. As Farrah said, it's the beginning of the new year, which means it's the beginning of a new session of the council. We have a new speaker who we're very proud of, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll see.
Councilmember, we lost your audio.
How's that? So I don't have to repeat everything, do I?
No, we just lost it.
Okay. All right. So as Farrah said, we are in a new session of the council, which means we have a new speaker, we have a new mayor. Hopefully that means a better place for the city. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll see what that agenda is, but I'm very confident that this mayor and this speaker have set the agenda so far as being a government that cares about the ever-rising crime in our communities, the economic downturn in our communities, the shuttered businesses, and the things that we need to do to get the city back. And we've seen that from the mayor, we've seen that from the new speaker, and we have an incredible team of council members representing Board 14, Farrah, who we all know, and we have two new members, Councilwoman Ina Vernikov and Councilwoman Rita Joseph, I believe, who may be joining later, replacing Councilman Chaim Deutsch and Councilman Matthew Eugene, respectively. So with a team of four members who love Board 14, who care about our community, and who are going to work as hard as you've gotten used to Farrah and I working over the last couple of years, I think we're going to be in good shape. So with that, just want to turn it back to you, Chair. Thank you very much to you. I want to thank also the district manager. Sean has, offline, people don't realize what district managers do. This is not just a once a month job. This is a day in, day out, nights and weekends job. And Sean has been incredible over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of days, particularly with the weather, but just, keeping us up and running and keeping our neighborhood going. I've reached out to her to help us do things as simple as reopening streets that were shut down illegally by utilities, and she's just been incredible. And whenever I'm here, I like to say that because the district managers are the unsung heroes of our work. So thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I agree with you more about district manager.
I like.
Moving on, I just want to recognize representatives from our elected officials who are on the call today. We have Pinkus Heiken from the Comptroller's Office, Yehuda Schuper from Assemblymember Helene Weinstein's office, and I will continue to go through the list as we, Eileen Mullaney Newman from the Borough President's office. As I go through the list, let me go ahead and ask the board office if we have, did we have any changes to the minutes from board members via email?
No, Madam Chair, no changes were submitted.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any changes from the floor? Hearing none, I will do the reverse voting since we are virtual at this point. Are there any members here that do not approve the minutes that were sent out by email with the WebEx link to this call? Are there any abstentions? Okay, hearing none, the minutes are approved. Thank you very much, everyone. Moving on to the district manager's report. District Manager Sean Campbell, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, Happy New Year from me too, to all of you. And thank you for the kind words. You know, we work hard because we have a good team in the office. So I appreciate that. Just while I have your attention and before I forget, the January Executive Committee meeting is going to have a time change. It is probably on your schedules, all of your schedules right now for 6:30, but it will begin at 6:00 p.m. January 20th. It will be virtual, and you'll be getting notifications as to this change, but mark it now while I have your attention. Thanks. As our elected officials said, this is the early days of new administrations, and we're learning just who is where and who our liaisons will be. We had a very productive and encouraging meeting with the Commissioner of the Community Affairs Unit in Mayor Eric Adams' office, who's a good friend to this board from days way back, Fred Kreisman. And he is a very much just do it. Like a do it person. He does it. So we're really looking forward to having the kind of support that we suspect will come out of the Community Affairs office under his leadership. He messed up a little bit by saying that Community Board 18 was his favorite community board. So we will work on him with that. But I think we can get that turned around quickly. And we also have our old CAU liaison was Penny Ringle, and he's going to be my liaison. He's in the commissioner's office at the Department of Sanitation. So it's great to see good people going to good places, and I'm glad that I'll continue to work closely with Penny Ringle. And then we've got a number of people who are staying put. I'm glad to still have Eileen Mullaney Newman from the Borough President's office and Pincus Hyken still with Brad Lander's office and the comptroller's office, and we'll figure out who's where. No matter what, we know that we'll work together well with our liaisons from the various offices because we're all here to support one another to make sure that we're serving our community well. We have a district manager meeting tomorrow, so I'll work with the colleagues. We agreed that we're going to figure out some of the priorities that we share collectively across the borough so that we can make sure that the elected officials, the people in their new seats, have a clear message from all of us that we stand united on. One of those, of course, will be support for an increase in our baseline budget so that we can expand our resources to continue our work in the community. Some other new kids on the block are 10 new recruits who are now at the 70th Police Precinct. We hosted their orientation last week, and I was joined by Chairwoman Joanne Brown and board members Ed Powell, Florencia Changajeda, and Joe Dweck, who appeared in a variety of hats. It was a big hat show, but they seem eager to serve, and they all said when asked why they wanted to become a cop, they said it's because they really wanted to help people. So that's a good place to start in the NYPD, wanting to help people. You may have noticed on Friday there was some snow that put our sanitation collections behind, but we didn't get, I mean, we have very few complaints about snow removal. The superintendent from BK14 shared some nice photos of workers on the road bridges clearing DOT's property. So it looks like they had some laborers working them, and then the sun helped the following day getting rid of the rest of it. But with the snowfall and 2 Saturday holidays, yes, they're a little bit behind. If you have a spot that's really egregious, give us a call. Otherwise, sit tight, they'll be there. And I'm not sure if I gave this to my Human Service Committee chairs to announce. If I did, I'm sorry, you might have to hear it twice. But the HOPE NYC, which is the street homeless census count, is taking place on January 25th. I believe that's up on our website. I'll double check and make sure it's up there tomorrow if not. But the Department of Social Services is always looking for people who are willing to go out on cold, dark nights to assist with that street homeless census count. So if anybody has trouble signing up to do that, please contact the office and we'll set you up. It's a difficult task, but it's a really important one. That's it for me. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, District Manager Sean Campbell. I would like to recognize that Council Member Rita Joseph is on the call, and wish her and bring her in with a really, really warm welcome from this community board. Councilmember Joseph, would you like to address this group?
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy to see each and every one of you. Thank you for the amazing work that you've been doing, and I look forward to partnering up with you and working to make sure that our communities get the services and the resources they deserve. Thank you for having me.
We look forward to seeing you almost every month, or a representative. Nice to see you.
Do we have, I'm sorry, do we have the new council members' contact information? And congratulations, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Same here, Gail.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Ms. Smith. I just again want to recognize from Council Member Lewis's office that Sabrina Dycd is on the call. Welcome. And moving on to the chair's report. Happy New Year to everyone. I hope we collectively have a healthy 2022. Sean beat me to the punch about the change in time for the executive committee meeting. So just to reiterate, it's going to be at 6 instead of 6:30. And those announcements will go out again tomorrow. Regarding a public hearing that was held on January 4th. The special 1206 East 21st Street, BSA number 2021-70-BZ. This public hearing was called to order on Tuesday, January 4th via WebEx. The purpose of this hearing was to hear public testimony with respect to a special application to the Board of Appeals for 1206 First Street, Block 7602, Lot 78. The special permit application was filed with the Board of Standard Appeals pursuant to 73-622 of resolution of as amended to permit the enlargement of an existing home in an R2 zoning district, contrary to the FAR, the OSR, and our requirements. The recommendation by board members to approve the special permit. The vote was 18 yes, 0 no, 1 abstention, and 0 ineligible to vote on this special permit. Is there a motion from the floor regarding this special permit?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Who was the first motion?
Yehuda Eckstein.
Thank you. And it was seconded by Gail Smith. I will go ahead and do reverse voting on this matter. Are there any board members in attendance that wish to vote no on this special permit?
Madam Chair, might you
Sir.
ask for any questions or comments?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. Are there any questions or comments? Thank you, Mr. Wallen. Waiting for hands, please go ahead and raise your hand if you like, if you have any questions about the recommendation or the property. Okay, thanks, Glenn. Seeing none, I will go ahead and ask again, are there any board members that wish to vote no on this special permit? Are there any board members that wish to abstain? I see 1 abstention in the participants list with a hand up. Are there any board members that are ineligible to vote? Okay, the special permit passes with 1 abstention. Thank you, everyone, and thanks, Glenn, for keeping me honest about that one. Moving on to the Borough Board's report. The Borough Board will be meeting on January 20th, which is the reason why we're asking to move the Executive Committee up a bit. So I will report out on both the January and February Borough Board meeting in the February general meeting of this board. Next item on my agenda is the appointment of the nominating committee. According to the new regional committee boundaries that were part of the ratified bylaw revision, your nominating committee will be as follows. Edward Sen from Region 1, Joanne Joseph from Region 2, Nicole Levinson Angulo from Region 3, and Boris Noble from Region 4. We also have Kashif Hussain from Region 1 as a total of 5 members, so 4 members on the nominating committee board with 1 alternate. Moving on to my next item, regarding a discussion about forming a Community Board 14 Flatbush African Burial Ground Task Force. At the Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs Committee meeting, I proposed that Community Board 14 form a task force to better engage with both the community and city agencies regarding the African burial ground at Church and Bedford Avenues. The purpose of the task force would be to collect historical precedents on such sites, connect with academic experts on best practices, engage with existing community groups and community residents, and finally, be a special committee to receive city agency reports regarding the land. There were mixed opinions regarding forming the task force now in January. Some members were for the formation at this time. Some suggested we pause to hear from the new mayor, the new council member, and the new borough president first. I wanted to open up a discussion about this matter at this time. I sort of feel a bit of urgency to form the task force at this time, only because I see that a meeting of the task force wouldn't be able to occur until March. And I already feel like there is much catch up for our board to do on such an important site in the district. Is there anyone, any board members here on the call that want to engage in discussion about forming this task force? Would anyone like to reiterate what they said at our ALCA meeting a few days ago? I see Glenn Wallen has a hand up. Go ahead, Glenn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I think it's a really good idea to put the task force in place. So as the information comes in, they can be gathering it. I don't think we should get out ahead of our new elected officials, but to be ready to hear what they say and think about this, I think that's a really good idea. Thank you.
Next board member, Gail Smith, please go ahead.
Yes, and I too agree with you, Madam Chair, and Glenn. Initially, my hesitancy was about having the council mayor, the council member, mayor, etc., have input. But being that it will not be March, we have much to do before March. I did read the report, which was very extensive, and I agree we should move forward.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. Are there any board members who have any questions about the task force, what that might look like? I'm just trying to garner some feedback from the people who were not at this committee meeting present at that time. I see that Carl Henry Cesar, board member, has his hand up. Go ahead, Carl.
So good evening. Thank you very much, Chairwoman Brown. So yes, just to reiterate some of the conversation that had happened at the committee meeting on the 4th, could you share some of your thinking into what the structure of this task force would look like? Would it be one that recommends a decision to the various stakeholders, or is it one that tries to get feedback and structure some sort of process to make it easier for the feedback to be gathered? Like, which direction are you thinking so far of the task force?
So the recommendation would always come from the community. So how the community feels about the space, and collectively, I think we can be, the task force can be a repository for community feedback, both the formed groups that are already existing, and then perhaps other stakeholders in the district that haven't had either the opportunity or the vehicle to weigh in on this space. I think this is an opportunity where we can do some research. We can connect with, you know, some experts that we have in our district at Brooklyn College, which have already been tapped by some of the community groups. So I see it as a means of bringing forth collectively information from both national and local people who have experience with sites like this, and then other community stakeholders, where we can collectively get all that feedback and then interface with city agencies and act as a liaison, as we always do, because that's our role, is to liaison with the agencies. Because right now, I'm not sure if board members are aware that there was an RFP for this parcel of land to build affordable housing. That has since been revoked by Housing Preservation and Development, so that that agency is really no longer in the picture. The land is currently under the jurisdiction of EDC, and we're not quite sure what agency is going to adopt this. It really just depends on what the final use will be, and that also depends on funding. So as what Community Board 14 does best is liaison between the agencies and our community, we can bring all of this together with the task force. That was my thinking. Does that answer your question, Carl?
It does, Chairwoman Brown. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking such an important question. I see Greg Alvarez has his hand up, board member. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And I think you covered just now a lot of what I was thinking. Initially, I was sort of one of the fence sitters as well, but you know, I think the metaphor that was used, you know, during the committee conversation about, you know, the spoke of the wheel, I think it's important that, you know, because it's such an important site, you know, that there are going to be a lot of stakeholders involved in this, that you know, we could certainly play our part with the task force to, you know, facilitate whatever comes of the site in the future. So just wanted to say that. And I think, I also think it's a good idea to form the task force. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me of that analogy. Yes, the task force would really just be a hub in terms of many different wheels that are turning in this matter. So I see a hand up from Gail Smith. Please go ahead, board member Gail Smith.
Yes, if I may, and not to put you on the spot, Councilmember Rita Joseph, but if there is any way that the district office, if we could liaise with you just to, after you've settled in, to get your thoughts on the burial grounds and where, and, you know, recommendations as we move forward with our task force.
Absolutely. I've always said I would stand with whatever decision the community makes. So I'm willing to sit and meet. I've been meeting with the groups as to how we will move forward and how we will all work together to come up with a solution for everyone. And I know that there will be no, as Chairman Brown, Manager Brown said, there won't be no affordable housing, but I know the funding is still there for whatever decides to happen with the site. I know it's supposed to be a memorial. That's what's in the works, in discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Joseph, and thank you, Ms. Smith, for asking that question. Next question I see is from Dwayne Joseph, board member. Go ahead, Dwayne.
Good evening and Happy New Year, everyone. Just a quick question and just for clarification on mine, I'm sure a few other people's end. With this task force procedurally, from the board standpoint, what would need to occur in order to form it? Like, when would a vote be taken? Is there a vote to be taken? Does there need to be a motion? I'm just trying to get an idea of what needs to be done in the timeline in order to get it done.
So procedurally, based on other task force that have been formed by this community board, it has always come before the board. There has been a motion from the floor, that motion seconded, and a vote from board members whether or not to go through with this process. If there is no motion tonight, then I will bring it up again in February. If there is a motion tonight and it doesn't pass, then I will ask again in February if anybody has reconsidered. I see your hand is back up, Dwayne, so please, let's have a discussion.
I mean, to that end, I would actually like to make a motion, but I see there are a couple of people with hands up, so I can hold my motion until they get a chance to comment.
Thank you very much. I will continue to call on people, and once we've exhausted the discussion, then please do so. Thank you. Next hand I see up is from board member Joe Dweck. Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, my concern is that as a community center, I didn't want the voices to be just one, to become only one voice. My concern is that if there's going to be different people, stakeholders, as you say, whether it be churches, whether it be community groups, whether it be historical groups, I'd like all of them to be represented wherever this convocation occurs. I don't want it just to be that it's just a community board and maybe we could get dismissed out of hand because it's just one. I'd rather it be multiplied, so to speak, by all the other folks. I don't know how that would happen. That's just my concern. Thanks.
Well, my understanding as a task force is that we can invite stakeholders to be part of this task force. I mean, so that certainly can be done. So we would have a portion of the task force be Community Board 14 members, and then we'll bring in other stakeholders to actively be part of the task force, and then we will go about the business of collecting feedback and information from the community and liaisoning with the city agencies, and hopefully perhaps doing some other work with, like I said, academic and other folks who have a lot of information about sites like this and how they can be presented to the community in a way that's meaningful.
Sorry,
okay.
It's just that I didn't want us to be the only voice. That's my point. I wanted there to be multiple voices there. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I was saying was that a task force can have more than just community board members on it. Glenn Wallen, you have your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It would appear that early indicators are that there are a lot of different perspectives as to how this physical site might be utilized. And gathering a lot of information from a lot of different stakeholders is going to be an interesting process. But I'm hoping that the end result will be some type of multifunctional solution so that we can bring along as many perspectives and people in the community as possible. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, I completely agree. And again, I'm not proposing to form this task force to have it be a unilateral voice of just the community board. And again, just wanting us to serve our role, which is listening to the community and then bringing that that voice back in, to the process. I see that District Manager Campbell has her hand up. Please go ahead, Sean.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's a perfect segue because I just wanted to remind the board, it was part of the conversation last week, and it just is the mission of the board is far more process oriented. It's not an advocacy organization. So the idea of the task force would be just to make sure that we're facilitating process, making sure that the voices in the community that are heard are broad-based and not just the best organized voices. And then keeping the city agencies focused on this to bring it to fruition because it's sort of out in the ether right now. Alvin made a suggestion that I reach out to EDC to find out where it was because that's in whose hand this property should be held while a lead organization is identified. And they were like, nope, it's with Tahira Moore at CAU. Well, number one, Tahira Moore hasn't been at CAU in 5 years, and she was with the last administration. I'm not quite sure where she's sitting now, although she's an asset, so maybe still in the mayor's office. But so I'm just worried that it's going to drift and that we do need a lot of focus. I want to thank Melissa Minich, who really helped me sort of crystallize the kind of definition of a task force. Our committees are very broad-based. They have a lot of work to do, a lot of issues to focus on, a lot of whack-a-mole to play, whereas a task force can just take one issue and follow it through a process. So I kind of just wanted to add that, but I really do want to make sure that we're clear on this being a process-oriented task force.
Thank you very much, Sean Campbell, for, putting my thinking in better wording. So Dwayne Joseph has his hands up. Please go ahead, Dwayne.
Again, thank you for entertaining this discussion. And in the interest in that some people have expressed that we don't want to wait too long on forming this task force, I would like to make a motion that CB14 start a task force to work with the community advocates for the African burial ground.
I second the motion, Gail Smith.
Okay.
Thank you both. I will go ahead and try the reverse vote. If I feel like the numbers are too close, we'll do a roll call just for transparency. Are there any board members that wish to vote no on the formation of the Community Board 14 Flatbush African Burial Ground Task Force? Seeing none, are there any board members that wish to abstain? I see one hand for abstention. Are there any board members that are ineligible to vote? Okay, well, thank you very much, Community Board 14. I look forward to going on this journey with you and being able to create a task force that will facilitate process for this parcel, this very, very, very important parcel of land in our district. Thank you very much. Glenn Wallen, you have your hand up.
Yes, now that we have this outlines of a task force, how are we going to staff it? Thank you.
I believe we'll start with volunteers and then we'll be looking out to the community for stakeholders that wish to join. I hope to truly have a very robust membership task force. So please reach out to the board office if you have interest in serving. And I'm not sure when the first meeting will be. We'll have to talk to the board office about scheduling that. But in the meantime, I think perhaps we can familiarize everyone who's interested, or once the task force is formed, with some of the materials and information that have already come about from the city task force and some other research that was done. So please reach out to the board office if you have interest in serving. Thank you. Glenn, is that good? Does that answer your question?
Yes, it's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So with that, the chair's report is complete. We're going to move on to the reports from topical committees. The first report from topical committees will be from Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs.
So thank you very much, Chairwoman Brown. Good evening, folks. And so, as always, hope everyone remains safe and sound. So the main thing is that on Tuesday, January 4th, there was an Education, Libraries, and Cultural Affairs meeting. And so the agenda was a presentation from the Brooklyn Arts Council, a presentation from King's Theater. There was an update on the status of the Flatbush African Burial Ground, and then there was also other business. So the first thing in regarding to the presentation by the Brooklyn Arts Council, the presentation came from Desiree Gordon, who is the Programs and Strategy Director. And basically over the course of her presentation, what she told us was some very key things. So the first was that that organization has been around for over 50 years. She said the second thing is that very high level, their purpose is to empower a Brooklyn artist community that in and of itself contributes to a vision of an equitable, diverse, and inclusive Brooklyn. And she also said another part of that was in helping to inspire them to also have those people realize that also contributes to the city at large. And then for the other part of the presentation, she then went into a very high level overview of their portfolio in terms of describing the things that they offered. So she said very high level, they offer grants, and she gave 4 examples of the categories of the grants that they offer. And then she also said that as part of their portfolio, they have fiscal sponsorship, they have professional development, they have arts consultancy, and could someone else mute themselves, please? I hear some other background stuff, thank you. And so just to repeat in case people had missed that, in terms of the portfolio portion of the Brooklyn Arts Council presentation, what Ms. Gordon had said was they offer grants, fiscal sponsorship, professional development, arts consultancy, arts and education, and then also cultural heritage. And so at that point, Ms. Gordon had completed her presentation. So then we had a Q&A, and the Q&A covered a bunch of topics ranging from what sort of engagement does the Brooklyn Arts Council do in schools, to a conversation about the importance of school leaders within schools themselves for setting the tone for the acceptance or resistance of schools having arts. And then also there's a question about, is there any sort of way, given, you know, the virtual hybrid environment that we've been in for the past 2 years, of the Brooklyn Arts Council being able to let Community Board 14 know what sort of projects are either being funded or being run in CB14. And so that was, in a very large nutshell, the portion of the presentation for the Brooklyn Arts Council. The next piece then was a presentation from King's Theater. And so we had Crystal Long, who is the new general manager of King's Theater. And so what she did with her presentation was to basically let us know of their aim to expand the portfolio to include theater and a little bit more programming for children. And then what they did was give us a recap of their Thanksgiving luncheon that they've been doing for 5 years now. So she gave us some stats on that, telling us that, you know, 300 meals were served. There were between 300 to 450 people who attended. She let us know that students from Erasmus, they were very instrumental in buying the food and then preparing it and then serving it. And then she also gave us some information in terms of that there are schools that do host their graduation ceremonies in King's Theater. And she also mentioned that, you know, one of the things that she's looking to do is to figure out what are other ways to get more involved with the community board. So, for example, one of the things they mentioned was the job fair that they do in conjunction with Workforce One. And so she was saying that, you know, as she and her team, you know, get more established and understand the ropes in the community better, these are some of the things that they're going to be looking at in terms of what are ways to continue that investment with the community itself. So then after that presentation from King's Theater, we then had the discussion on the Flatbush African Burial Ground. So as we had heard from the conversation just prior regarding the vote, essentially the RFP for the housing, that's no longer valid, right? So then the conversation was then about, okay, so how do we look at this conversation? And so that's where the idea of having a committee, or not a committee, but excuse me, but a task force came up. And then we had just had the vote to establish that task force. So very high level, that was what was discussed in regards to the update on the Flatbush African burial ground. And then in terms of other business, we had a community member, Lori Davidson. And so Lori Davidson is a member of the Cortelyou Friends of the Library, and she's also a co-founder. And so she's been part of that group for 10 years. And so what she let us know was that the group had applied for and won a $10,000 Brooklyn Incubator grant. And so the project that they had won that grant for is for the Cortelyou Library, and it's basically about increasing the way in which the library engages with the community and reflects the community that it serves. And so the project that they won the $10,000 grant for, that is for basically hosting 5 concerts. And for each of these concerts, there are certain key things that will be a part of them. So they will include, not limited to, but they will include highlighting culture and community. There will be arts, there will be music, there will be food, there will be bilingual story time. And as part of that effort, Lori and her colleagues will be looking to communicate with cultural ambassadors about what are ways to, not only create this engagement, but then to cultivate it and to continually improve it. And the cultures in question that would be reflected across these concerts, it would be Haitian, it would be Pakistani, it would be Bangladeshi, it would be Mexican, and it would be Nepali. And so if people do want to participate or have any questions for Lori, then what I will do after my report is I will put her contact information in the chat. But another thing that Lori had said too was that, for lack of a better term, one of the key things about this is that the people who work on this, should be of the community itself. And so there's a desire to do that. And so that's a bit of a hefty report, because, we did a lot of feasting on January 4th in that meeting, but it was good stuff. So that's my report.
Thank you very much, Carl Henry Cesar. It was a very robust meeting. Thanks. Next report will be from the Transportation Committee.
No report from Transportation at this time.
Very much. Next report will be from Public Safety Committee, soon to be known as Community Safety Committee.
Good evening, everyone, and a better 2022. On behalf of my co-chair, Mr. Abe Treff, and myself, we had a meeting on December 21st with Mr. Zachary Mayer, the Director of Outreach for the Department of Investigation. He shared the goal of his organization, and they were to increase the effectiveness of the police department, increase public safety, protect civil liberty and civil rights. So basically, their objective is to establish the bonds between community groups and the police departments. He stated that there are 3 units within their organization. They are 1, the policy unit, which deals with systemic reviews and civil rights issues. The investigation unit deals with the hotline, the emails, complaints, and they triage the information to different departments, or they make referrals to other agencies as needed. Then there is the outreach unit, and they liaise with the community groups. They deal with public safety, civil rights, and discourteous behavior of the police departments. So basically, they just want to hear from community groups and that have been marginalized. And although he stated that they're independent of the police department, they do deal directly with them. And then Sean had suggested that he joins our roundtable, which Joanne have been hosting for years. And so that was that part. And then we had the report from the 70th Precinct, Captain Kristen Suarez, who made the presentation because the CO couldn't. There was one homicide on December 14th where a 21-year-old was killed due to burglary. She did state that they know who the suspect is because of the video that was there. There was a secure camera, and so they received a video from that. She stated that there were 80 grand larcenies. No, there were 80 burglaries from persons, and due to con games and Craigslist, unfortunately. Why do people go to Craigslist? But anyway, folks were being extorted, you know, over the phone, utility companies.
Got
and-
mail.
Yeah. Okay. And so that for the year, there were 120 burglaries from vehicles due to the doors being unlocked, where folks lost checkbooks, iPads, jewelry, credit and debit cards, and large sums of money. She warned about identity theft, and she suggested that we do not, which I'm sure everybody knows, but just in case we don't, do not share personal information via social media. Don't give personal information over the phone. Do not give personal information in emails that you did not reach out to the person, or your credit card information. Make sure you shred your bank statements, or pertinent information should be shredded. And she did suggest that. Did she, Joanne, can someone remind me, did she say that you could do that at home, or there was an agency someplace that folks could do that as well? I don't recall. I don't know. Maybe that was just in my mind. But anyway.
Yeah, there are shredding events from time to time, and we do try to post them. It's not an ongoing service that I'm familiar with, but there are events, and we'll keep the community apprised when they occur.
Thanks, Sean. I thought so. Okay. And then she did say anyone who's a victim should reach out to the credit bureau. Also, if anyone is a victim, they can also reach out to the Attorney General's office. There's a form in which you can, so that's just something to know. She did warn about tax season. So she said that, instead of having the money sent to you, that you can get your refund wired to your account, or have the check sent to a post office box, And she did state that seniors are most vulnerable, but nowadays we know they do go after everyone, including the youth. So that being said, and then there were issues that were talked about, was discussed about that there was increased police presence during the holidays. And then Anne had stated that, there's scamming and phishing, and so if you do not initiate information, do not give your personal information. And someone had asked about, would the suspect who killed the young man, would they be released? And she did say that they do confer with the district attorney's office, and nothing would happen before the bail, or something to that effect. And then Gail had questioned, how is the 70th precinct engaging the youth during the pandemic? And then the topic of youth, where Sean jumped in, and told about our youth council, and Zachary talked about the street meets and different strategies that the police department is engaging in to help to save our youth. Thank you very much. That's it. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, Florencia. And I want to thank you for bringing up the murder of Fadel Musa. That store is on my corner in the north of the district. He was a really, really hardworking young man. He ran that store like a boss at 20 years old. Yeah. And I'm sure this board and myself really can agree what a tragedy this was. Thanks for
It
reminding
was.
us about that.
It was. And I actually did attend his funeral, the service in Bay Ridge. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for doing that.
Okay.
Moving on to our next committee, Youth Services, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Dwayne Joseph. Forgive me, my camera is malfunctioning tonight, so we don't have a report for the youth services as we did not meet in late December. I think we reported to the board of our December meeting back in December. We are trying to schedule our next youth service committee meeting for February, so be on the lookout for that, the dates and times. The community board will get that out to you with the hopefully by the end of January for February, obviously. But in the meantime, just wanted to wish everybody a happy new year on behalf of Nicole Levinson Angulo, who's also on the call. Nicole, if you'd like to say a few things, a few words.
Just happy new year, and I hope everyone has a wonderful 2022, and I look forward to seeing as many of you as possible at our next committee meeting.
Hi, Nicole.
All right. That's it for our report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dwayne and Nicole. I just wanted to let the board know that the Youth Leadership Council, the Community Board 14 Youth Leadership Council, will be getting together on January 25th to do some work with regards to deliverables that is required of that group. I look forward to seeing them hopefully in person. We're waiting to see what Department of Education is going to do with schooling, whether they're going to go remote, and we're taking our cues from them. But looking forward to meeting with them. Next committee is, excuse me for a second, get my agenda, will be Human Services, please.
Good evening, everybody, and pardon the other phone. Hoping that all of us have a healthier, safer, and all around better 2022 than the last 2 years have brought us. As far as reports, Dwayne, it may be your camera that's malfunctioning, but tonight it is my brain, so bear with me. I don't think that we have anything to report for this month, but there's been some discussions about some interesting up and coming projects, and hopefully we will have more to say on that in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next committee report will be from Community and Community Environment, please.
We're planning on having a meeting in February of this year, and hopefully we'll speak to parks there and talk about issues with drainage in the area, sort of dovetailing our meeting with DEP. Also, I want to announce that sanitation is still picking up Christmas trees. If you put it out between now and the 15th, not wrapped in plastic, they will take the tree and mulch it for you. Two other things. We attended 2 meetings in December. One at the Vale of Kashmir. There was a presentation about a grant that the mayor gave, the largest grant in the history of Prospect Park, $40 million to redo the Vale of Kashmir, which is an historical area in the northeastern section of Prospect Park. They're going to redo the fountains. They're going to put a nature area in and a visitor center there. The other thing that was discussed was we went to the Prospect Park Community Committee meeting, and they talked about their outreach programs for the spring and the summer this year. But they also said in all contracts they have now, they will be putting in elements concerning drainage. That was one of the big problems people were complaining about. The drainage from the park was entering people's houses just outside the park. So we're going to be following up with them on that also. That's pretty much it. Barton, do you have anything else to say?
Not at all, except that I seem to recall you had some great picture taken with the mayor, and I look forward to, excuse me, the then mayor. And
The
I
then
look forward
mayor,
to seeing a
yes.
copy of that at some point.
I will send you a copy of it to the board soon.
Awesome.
Thank you both. Thank you both. Apparently Donald has quite the collection of pictures of himself with mayors going back as far as Lindsay. Is that what you
As
told
far
me?
as Lindsay, yes. Now
Okay.
I got to get Adams on with me.
I have a drawing with him and Peter Stuyvesant.
There is a question from Nina Sabgir, board member for the committee co-chairs. Go ahead, Nina.
Yes, just speaking of things going on in Prospect Park, and you know, I'm really, really pleased to hear that that some money is being brought in for improvements in the park, because it is our only really big park in the area. There's supposed to, I believe, wasn't there supposed to be a Shirley Chisholm Memorial sculpture or something installed in the park? And is there any update on that?
They didn't give us any update on that. My understanding is they haven't really started doing that yet. There were supposed to be several statues put in parks throughout the city, and that seems to have stalled a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Things take time in the parks of the city. You have to go through the Public Arts Committee and a bunch of other things in order to get things approved. And plus, we have a new mayor right now, so who knows how long it's going to take. I could ask Parks if you want. I'll get back to you at the next meeting.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I believe the approval for the Parkside, the plaza that is outside of Parkside, all of that occurred prior to COVID. So it probably was stalled due to that as well. Thank you very much for your report. Moving on to our ad hoc committees, I just again want to thank Stephen Cohen for shepherding the process with his committee and that our bylaws revised and approved. That being said, I think we can go ahead and dissolve this ad hoc committee with great success. Again, congratulations, Community Board 14, for having a revised set of bylaws with new committees and some updates to some other language and things that were necessary. Congratulations. At this time, I'm going to move into the public session of our meeting. This brings us to our public comment period. Board members are expected to remain for the public comment period. Because we are meeting remotely, all speakers were asked to pre-register via email to the board office. Any member of the public who is not able to register in time can follow up directly with the board and staff, who will include appropriate announcements on the CB14 website. Matters of civic interest and announcements of public events are invited. No partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises are permitted. Service delivery requests should be brought to the attention of the staff by email or during regular business hours. Each speaker will be permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not receive additional time from another speaker. The board has an obligation to conduct its business in an orderly manner. Any person preventing the meeting from continuing will be muted and possibly disconnected from the meeting. The intent of the public comment period is to permit the board and the community a chance to hear diverse perspectives on public issues. Accordingly, we ask that groups be represented by a single speaker. It is now 8:05. Anya Hoyer will be announcing our previously registered speakers at this time. Thank you, Anya.
Our first speaker is Juliet Tarantino from WISE.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for your time and attention tonight. My name is Juliet Tarantino, and I'm a resident of Kensington. I've joined the meeting especially tonight because I work with a local nonprofit based in New York City that's called Working in Support of Education. And we offer civic engagement and college readiness programs throughout New York City. Especially in Brooklyn, we have an after-school club through a partnership with the New York City Department of Youth and Community Development. We provide this free after-school program and college scholarship competition for students in grades 9 through 12 who live in Brooklyn And the kids that join this club, the After School Research Club, they choose a real world issue that they care about, research it, make a solution, and then take steps to create change. Additionally, their projects could be awarded up to $10,000 in college scholarships. The club is taught by an incredible, inspiring teacher with 20 plus years of experience of teaching this project. And we have a few seats left. We have 6 spots available in our club. So we wanted to make sure that folks knew. And if you have an interested 9th through 12th grader, I'll put a link in the chat if that's allowed. Past participants of our, can you hear? No, can folks hear?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're fine.
Okay, great. Wanted to make sure I wasn't just talking to myself. I know my time is short. I'll leave you with a few of the club participants' impressions. They've said that joining was an amazing experience, increases their confidence, their research and writing and data analysis skills, that getting to that final round of the scholarship competition was a proud moment they'll never forget. And one former club member, she even went on to pursue a career in research and now works as a research scientist at Pfizer. Very practical information. The club meets at James Madison High School, so that's just south of the community board on Bedford Ave and Quinton Road. But students who can get there are welcome to join from any high school. And it's Friday afternoons, every other Saturday morning. Right now it is in person. And I'll put my email if there are any questions. That form is the sign up, and there's more information and a way to contact me there as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, we have a surprise on the call. I want to recognize that our new borough president, Antonio Reynoso, is on the call and invite him to address this body if he would care to.
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you perfectly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. First and foremost, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'm very happy to see you all. I just got off of a long meeting and knew that this was happening today. I wanted to make sure that you guys saw me. So I want to just introduce myself. My name is Antonio Reynoso, and I am the new borough president. I'm really excited about the work that we're going to be doing with community boards. So I hope you guys are ready, because there's going to be a lot of activation happening. I'm hoping to provide more resources to the community boards so that you feel that you're being supported from Borough Hall. And I can't tell you how excited I am. I know you have some great folks here. I already saw some names of some council members that I've worked very closely with. And I hope that when it's all said and done, the next 4 years, you really feel that you have a tremendous amount of support and that we've done our part to really bring more resources to Borough Hall. And I think if you want, I can take on like a couple of questions, or we could find a time where it's more appropriate, because I know I'm just popping in to surprise you all, but I just really didn't want to miss this first meeting of the year. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. It's such a pleasure to meet you on the screen. I'd be happy to members, a few of you, if you had some questions for the new borough president. I do see that Dwayne Joseph has his hand up. I'm not sure if that was for our speaker previously. If not, let me know. Dwayne, is that?
It was for the previous speaker, but I would just like to say congratulations to the new borough president, and great hire for your deputy borough president.
Thank you so much. I know it's a lot of folks are very happy about that hire. Look, I want to be perfectly honest. I want people to feel that I'm going to be where the resources and the needs are. I know that the work that previous Assembly Member Diana Richardson has done in her community is second to none when it comes to looking out for the interests of her people, especially in Central Brooklyn, which is a high need and under-resourced area. So I hope that Brooklynites see that we're trying to build a team here that can really focus on the entire borough, and also their issue-based work that she does that I haven't necessarily been front and center on, that she can help plug those holes in. So I'm really looking forward to working with former Assembly Member Diana Richardson. And I do want to give a shout out to Eileen, who's here from my office. I wanted to thank her for covering while I was doing all this work. I'm really excited to announce, by the way, as well, that Eileen has become the director of, Eileen, you're going to help me here, director of programs in our office. So we gave her a promotion as well for the great work that she's been doing for quite some time. And I'm really excited to see the work that's going to come from her office.
I'm very excited to be your director of programs, and I'm hoping that I'm going to continue to be your CB14 rep too.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
Since I live here.
That's a discussion we'll need to have, Eileen.
I know.
You like these
I
folks,
just want to put it out there in front of the group.
All right. I see Councilmember Rita Joseph. Just want to say hi to my sister from the other side of the island. Really nice to see you. Farrah Lewis, Councilmember Farrah Lewis is here as well. Just wanted to say hi to her. Those are my two sisters from the other side of the island. We're going to be doing a lot of work in their district. So I hope that, again, in 4 years and 2 for them, right, that you can see the work that we did in collaborating means a lot to this district.
Congratulations, Eileen. Well deserved. Brava. We have a question from Board Member Deborah Valentin.
Hi, congratulations on your win.
Thank you so much.
Diana was the perfect choice. And I just want to know, when are you going to have your website up and running?
So I should have said this from the beginning. I want to plead patience here. The circumstance that I find myself in is a very unusual one. The previous borough president became the mayor of the city of New York, and in doing so has taken about 60 to 70% of the staff. So what we're doing here is really just building a solid foundation so that the staff that has remained and the new staff that's coming in can hit the ground running. If we were going to open the website and include these applications, for example, for community board, we put ourselves in a position where we're kind of just doing the same thing as before, and we want a different application. We really want to start talking about demographics and representation in a more meaningful way. So look, we'd rather take a longer time to do it right. So I really want you guys just to be patient with me while I build this out, because when we do it, it's going to be worth it. It's intentional that we've shut down the website in an effort to, when it does show up, produce something that is more akin to my style. And I hope that, again, that you would be patient with me while we try to figure this out.
I will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Valentin. Actually, this brings up an interesting point. We do have some community board members that need to submit their application by February 15th. It's usually done through the website. So please let our board office know if there'll be another way if your website is not available. Thank you.
Yes. So we're going to be meeting with all the district managers and the community board chairs very soon to give direction as to like where we're going, especially when it comes to the applications. So you'll be very well informed and the community boards will know. Also, a lot of these deadlines are deadlines that have been put forth by the borough president's office through policy. So there are things that could be modified if need be and in any emergencies. I'll make sure that whatever communication is coming from us is something that comes early and gives you time to do it the right way. And I just wanted us to make sure we reflect. I've been here for 7 days, 6 work days, but I want to get to this as soon as possible. So we're working on it.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Next question will be from Councilmember Farrah Lewis. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hi, I was about to call you Antonio, Borough President Reno. So I'm so happy for you and excited for the work that you will do. You've done amazing work in the council, so I know that you could take this on. You were built and ready for this, born for this. I wanted to know if you could just quickly share with the board. I put out an email today, but if you could share with the board any information you have, maybe Eileen can, about the upcoming application for funding, for capital funding.
Yes. So this is also something that I'm going to do a bit different. And I've actually been working alongside Councilmember Lewis on this work. So what we're doing is we want to address what we consider the grossest inequity that exists in our borough, which is Black maternal health. Black women are dying at 8 times the rate as any other women during childbirth in this borough. This is the most deadly borough to have a baby in if you are a Black woman. So what we're doing is we're going to use all of our resources, all of them, in the first year to outfit every single public hospital and a few safety net hospitals with state-of-the-art birthing centers. we're looking to make sure that we have the best facilities for the place where most poor Black and brown women go to have babies. In doing so, what we're going to see is that maternal health across the board is going to improve in Borough Hall and in Brooklyn. And also, what we hope to do is that make Brooklyn the safest place for all women to have babies. In New York City in 4 years, and if I'm allowed a second term, we're hoping to make Brooklyn the safest place for all women to have babies in the country. That's the type of work we're trying to do, and it's going to take a lot of investments. So we're really focusing most of our money in public hospitals, and we're also working with council members and with the borough, with the mayor, Eric Adams, to assist us with policy that centers midwives and doulas in the birthing process in an effort to make sure that we're having a holistic approach to the work that we're doing. We're also doing pre and post work with mental health. We're also encouraging, incentivizing by having giveaways for, women that are showing up very often to their checkups every single month. It's a very comprehensive thing that we're doing. We have a team of like 20 people working on this, a separate task force for maternal health. So just for the capital applications, unfortunately, there's going to be limited opportunities. There might be some, but limited opportunities for the money to go to communities in the first year, because we want to make sure that we're actually affecting change in this industry, and we can't do that with a couple of pennies. We're going to need millions for it, and I want to make sure that I can do that. Thank you, Councilmember Lewis.
Thank you very much. We have two more people that like to pick your brain. First will be Shahid Khan, who's a board member, and then our district manager, Sean Campbell, and then that will be all. Shahid Khan, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair. And first of all, I congratulations, Mr. Borough President, and I believe you are one of the youngest Borough President, I think, that elected in Brooklyn.
Yes.
And second, that I'm also appointed by a Borough President last 6 years, so I'm also representing you in Community Board 14.
Okay.
And the third,
Mhm.
third most important thing is that I'm last 6 year Borough Brooklyn Community Board member. So we are facing some financial crisis. We always struggling, and we always talk about more budget for community board, more budget for community board. So if you kindly increase, allocate more funding, although this is too early, but if you kindly allocate more funding to the community board, every community board, but especially Community Board 14, which is one of the most diverse community in Brooklyn. So it will be highly appreciated from your role. So if you kindly comment something.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Khan, for that question. Look, I agree. I think that there is a huge problem with the funding of community boards, which is like the first level of public engagement, volunteer engagement and civic engagement in our city. And I think that there's a question to be had about whether the funding is a reflection of how it's valued, and how we should be having a different type of conversation when it comes to, again, the money that's coming to community boards. I think to our advantage, because this is going to be an advocacy question. Your budget comes mostly from the mayor's office, and I'm going to be front and center in making sure that we ask for more funding from the mayor. This mayor was a borough president. That is an unusual opportunity that we're going to have to be able to pitch to him something that that is near and dear to him and that he knows very well, which is community boards. So first, I want you to see that you're going to see me actually advocating on behalf of community boards, so that it's not just Chair Brown going into these meetings and all the district managers that are doing the work to fight for themselves. I should be front and center. I should be your champion for that. So let me work on that front first, Mr. Khan, making sure that I do the advocacy. Also, I am not the youngest borough president of all time. There was another one that was there in a special election in the Bronx, in Ruben Diaz, that was about 9 months younger than I was. He got in when he was, so I'm the second youngest borough president, youngest in Brooklyn. So don't worry about that. And we all know, Mr. Khan, that Brooklyn is the only borough that matters. So yes, I'm the youngest borough president in this city. No, but thank you for that question. I know you've been serving here for a long time. Mr. Khan, and I hope that once we review your resume and we see everything that you've done, that we continue to do that that we continue to appoint you to this board. So again, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
for your
sir.
service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And lastly, District Manager Sean Campbell would like to bring forth greetings or perhaps a question.
Really, it is just the greetings. I just want to say welcome, and we're meeting, district managers are meeting together tomorrow so that we can get our priorities in common together to present to you, and we're all looking forward to working with you and your terrific staff, including the one and only, the great Eileen Mulaney-Newman.
All right. Eileen, did you set this up? I think Eileen set this up. She's like, my boss might be coming here. I want you to really do a good job. No, look, it's only been 6 days. And Eileen has been very helpful to us in our transition. So you guys, you know, the proof is in the pudding. The work that she's done so far has been really meaningful, and she's really stepped up and asked us to ask for more of her. So I'm extremely grateful to her. We are also, and I don't know if I should announce this because it's off the way I communicate, but I believe on the 20th we're going to have a borough board meeting where I am going to meet you all. So to the district managers and to the chairs. I want a lot of intake. I want to hear a lot from you guys, but I'm also going to be asking a lot of you. So be prepared because, and I'm not going to do it without providing the resources, right? I want to make sure that you know that if I ask more of you, I want to do more professional development, see if borough, if community board appointees or community board members, there you go, community board members are willing to do more, learn more about land use. I'm willing to take an online class for that we'll take care of, learn more about transportation, just continuously grow in the work that you're doing so that when you take on these projects or when you're taking on education, that you feel like you're really coming at it from a place of like a mini expert and that we move into like data and information, helping you make great decisions. So that's what I hope to be doing in the near future. So that's the type of support you guys can be expecting. So I'm hoping in 4 years that the developers be shaking in the heels because they got to talk to folks that are going to be, ready with all the lingo and the technicalities. So that's the type of work that I want to do. So be ready, district managers and chairs. And I can't tell you how excited I am. I hope that you're as excited as I am. Because the community boards I hope it's a revival in the work that you guys are doing.
Thank you so very much, Mr. President, for sharing your time with us. And I am super excited to hear all about this continuing education, professional development for board members. I would definitely be joining in, and I'm glad that you brought it ahead of time because I'll be putting my thinking cap on before the 20th meeting, the meeting on the 20th.
Yes, and Chair Brown, I just want to say to everyone, like that's how I'm growing every single day. I'm learning every day. I left the city council still not, still having to learn more about being a council member. And it's just like, you never stop growing. You never stop learning. And I hope that that's the attitude people take. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful and say that you don't know anything. What I want to do is just see if there's an opportunity here for us all to grow. And I think giving this educational platform and this professional development platform is going to be good for all of us. So I'm really excited about that. And yes, you got first dibs, Madam Chair. So if you have any ideas on things that you think we can all grow on or we can build on, please let me know, and I'll make sure to do the best I can to get it on in the lineup.
Thank you very much, and thanks for welcoming my input. I appreciate that. Again, warm welcome, congratulations, and I'll see you on the 20th. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you, and don't forget to spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Peace.
Anya, we're ready to move back to our public. Oh, Dwayne, you had a question for our previous speaker. I'm not sure if she is still here. I'm looking. Yeah, she is still here. Dwayne, did you want to ask that question of Juliet Tarantino?
I just wanted to thank Juliet for presenting a DYCD funded program. This is something that was brought up during our youth service committee in December to try and highlight more of these programs. I'd appreciate if she could send her information to the board because I would like to invite her to present her organization at one of our forthcoming committee meetings.
Great. We have Wise's contact information, and
Okay.
we can complete that circle. Wise has also been a participant in past youth conferences too, so it'd be great to continue that relationship.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Anya, back to our regularly scheduled program. Thank you everyone for being so patient.
Your registered speaker is Alicia Goodrich from SUNY Downstate.
Good afternoon, good evening. Hello, CB14. Hello, Madam Chair Brown and District Manager Campbell. I'm actually traveling, but I had to stop. CB14 is actually my community board, and my brother Dwayne Joseph has been pushing me to join, so you'll be seeing me a lot more. And you may know my face because I was the former Chief of Staff to Assemblywoman Dinah C. Richardson, who is now the Deputy Borough President. I transitioned over to SUNY Downstate in December, and I'm now the Government and Community Relations contact there. So you have me, you have not lost me, and I look forward to sharing any information from the school and hospital. And if there's anything that is needed, I am available and can be reached, and I will share my information in the group, and I'll be seeing you more frequently. I hope everyone had a good holiday, Happy New Year, and I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you for giving me this time.
Great, thank you. We have 2 pre-registered speakers who have already spoken, so I just want to name them, and if you do need to make another quick comment, we have Anthony Drummond from CM Lewis's office, followed by Eileen Mullaney Newman from the Borough President's office. Would either of you still like to speak?
Anthony Drummond. No, actually, the member covered, so I will reserve my comments and save for next month. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
I'll just say ditto on what he said. You know, it was great that the borough president was able to jump on, because I was going to tell you that he had a conflict and wasn't able to join tonight. So yet he is surprising me with his appearance tonight, which was really, really lovely. And we look forward to hearing from him more. And Anthony, I look forward to hearing from you more, my former colleague from Borough Hall. So this is really great, because Anthony also lives in the district, and I look forward to working with him in Councilmember Lewis's office. So this is good. And hello, Rita Joseph. We have to meet. So welcome all, and it's great to be here. Thank you.
May I jump in too to also say, I think I just private messaged Anthony when he was at our meeting last week. So let me say it publicly, welcome. And I'm so glad you're in that seat too, and look forward to working with you. It's such a great spot for you. And as a community member and somebody who has a really good experience on the ground, I think we're going to do a lot together. Welcome. Welcome to the spot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Okay, and our final pre-registered speaker for the evening is Stephen Beasley, New York Presbyterian Brooklyn Methodist Hospital. Go ahead, Stephen.
Greetings, everybody. I will not hold you. If you hear some squirming in the background, it's a 7-week-old. So I'm Stephen from New York Presbyterian, Brooklyn Methodist. We just want to bring greetings. Make sure you all reach out to us at nyp.org/Brooklyn if you all want to get connected to care. We also have a presentation later on this month with the Department for the Aging called Getting to Know the Aging Eye. I'll leave that information in the chat and also email that to CB14. But we are here, and I will also leave my email address. And thank you all for letting me comment. Have a good night.
It's Joe. Do I have anything for Eileen from the community president's office for a second? Eileen, honey, the renewal online is not working. The first page goes through, but the second page does not, and you can't do anything to edit it. There's nothing. It doesn't work.
No, that was the thing. Borough President Reynoso he's going to be redoing this, so it's not going to necessarily be the same form. So everybody just, and he also will probably, he's going to probably extend the timeline. He's going to be doing things differently. So he wants to revamp this. So everybody just stay tuned. We're going to get the information out to everyone, but he needs some time to work with his staff on that application and how it's going to roll out.
Thanks, Eileen.
No problem. Anytime.
Congratulations, Eileen. This is Gail.
Hi, Gail. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I'm very pleased. The team has been great so far. I think we're going to have some really, really good things happening in Brooklyn under his administration. Very excited.
Joanne, that's our final registered speaker for the evening.
Thank you, Anya. And again, congratulations, Eileen. All right, well, that concludes our public comment period. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? It was very exciting.
Motion to adjourn.
Who was that?
Hindi Benzel.
Thank you, Hindi.
Second,
Second.
Glenn Warland.
Thank you. Motion and seconded. This Community Board 14 meeting is adjourned at 8:32 p.m. Thank you, everyone. It was a very exciting meeting for January.
Good night, everyone.
New Year, everyone.
Night.
Congratulations.
Good night, Alvin.
Hindi
Good
Benzel.
Good night.
night, Deborah.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.